All right. Hello and welcome to Mythology Madness Painting Night. And if I can get the lighting right here, and I'm looking at the wrong screen. All right. Tonight we are going to work on Merlin, and this is the fourth painting show. But off camera, I also did the concept sketches, and the research, and uh, shot reference, and the whole thing. And so I've probably got at least 12 hours into this piece, maybe 15. um, I'm working off the same palette that I've been working off of for about 2 weeks now, using gouache. And so I just add a little bit of water and reactivate all my colors, even though I might have put a little bit too much water on here tonight. um, Actually, let me shake a little bit of that water off. There we go. So there's my palette. And tonight I'm probably gonna try to knock out the background. I really have the color on the main character blocked in the way I want it. And I really like the colors. Uh, but I've got to get the background before I start tidying up the edges so that I don't mess it up. And it's going to be a forced background with blue magic. And so I'm not really sure how I'm going to do this, to be honest. I do this a lot digitally. I don't do it a lot painting. So let's go for it. The cool thing is I can paint over it if I don't like it. For example, I like the way some of the rays came out, but not all of them. And the magic here, I don't like the way it blended in there. So I'm going to have to do some experimentation. I'm going to start off with my blue, and I'm actually going to go with a big brush this first. Or do I need to go with a? I think so. I think I need to go big or go home. So I'm going big. I'm going big tonight, at least until I get what I want out of. And my palette is a mess. It's a really big mess. Um, but let's just go for it. Uh, I'm going to go a little bit heavier now. Um, I have the wash underneath, so I don't have to worry about it too much. You know, I don't have to worry about complete coverage. And I can even get some dry brush effect in there as it blends. Okay. That's actually pretty close to what I wanted. I probably squeezed out too much blue paint. And I'm going to come here. I'm going to tidy up these God rays a little bit. Okay, I can dig it. I'm definitely learning some new techniques on this piece. Um, I'm learning things I can do and things I can't do. So when I run across some of these problems again, I would definitely be better suited to handle them. And that took a lot less paint than I thought it was. I squeezed out a way too much paint, which is okay because normally I don't squeeze out enough. So that's all right. And then I'm going to go with my pale green, which I don't know if I ever had a spot for that on the canvas or not. But I do want to, actually, do I want to go trees first or the green first? Um, hmm, that's an interesting question. Because now that I think I want to put the tree trunks in first. I did save some more reference photos of forest shots, and I have a few that I kind of like, um, that are kind of eerie and dreary, and uh, I, hmm, I think I'm gonna go with putting some trees in, and then I'm gonna come back with the green foliage. So I did pull because the green background is gonna be fine. So yeah, I want to go with some trees first, and I don't have the right color for it. Where is it at? I didn't even think about. There we go. The burnt umber is what I was looking for. I didn't think about it initially, but I do want some tree trunks in there. And I probably should have waited to do the blue over the rays anyway, because I do want all the trees to sit in the background. But that's okay. I'll figure it out. That's part of the fun, is figuring it out. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. This may have been a color I had already anyway. I'm going to put in a tree trunk right there. Put in a tree trunk right there. Again, I don't know how this is going to turn out. I know the effect I'm going for, but I honestly don't know how it's going to turn out. Oh, I did have some. I forgot about the staff. So I have had this color up here before. If I carried this through like that, and I carried this through like that, I have to be careful not to reactivate the blue, but it's okay if it blends with the blue. And then I'm going to put a few. These tree trunks should be a little bit bigger, maybe. Maybe I should go sideways on it like that. Okay, that's cool. I can dig it. Using the right brush, I can get the effect I really want without jeopardizing everything that I've worked for. and hopefully it dries with a little blue magic tint in it, which would be absolutely perfect. All right, now I'm going to try, and I'm giving the trees a slight slant to perhaps show some force movement, give an effect of power coming. And then I'm going to put a bigger tree coming back here. And here I'm going to have to kind of do it this way. And I got a little air bubble in there. Is there an air bubble? That's an air bubble. Get out of here. All right. All right, I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Maybe this will come out the way I want it to. As you hear me hit the lights. But keeping the paint somewhat thick, I don't worry about it lifting up too much. And hopefully I can get good coverage. But I don't care if it blends a little bit with the blue and the green, but just not so that it gets washed out. I don't want that. And I'm gonna have to make these look like trees too. But that at least gives me part of what I'm going for here. Pterodactyl, thanks for stopping by. I'm just gonna put some slight indications in the back. That's too heavy, but that's okay. All right. I can dig it. I can dig it. I'm going to add a little something to that to kind of brighten it up just a little bit. I guess I can mix it with the green. And get a little bit lighter color. And maybe a dash of white. Ooh, actually, you can mix it with a little bit of the pearl. And that might give me something decent to work with. Oh yeah, that gives me something pretty decent on this side of the house. And I'm catching it while it's still wet. So maybe I'll get some natural blending and it'll just look natural. I think that's the word I'm looking for. The natural blending will look natural. I was going to try to get in there a little bit, but I don't know if I should. Maybe. Okay, okay. I can dig it. I can dig it. All right. I like it. I think that's going to dry pretty nice. Again, this is fantasy art night. Thursday nights is when I do my fantasy art painting. And on Saturday night, what I call sketch cards Saturday night, is when I do pop culture and comic work. Um, I'm not sure what I'm going to do this Saturday coming up, 2 days from now, but I do have a lot of comic work to do. All right, now I'm going to go with uh, the lighter green can stay, and so I just need to go with a darker green, which I think I can do relatively easy if I actually I'll put a lot of the brown in it, but I'll keep the green and hopefully it doesn't overpower it, which it did. So that's not going to be a good color. That is not going to be a good color. I'm going to have to add some black. And it won't take a lot of the black. But I don't want to go too dark because the character is kind of on the darker side. And I do want that contrast. I want the character to stand out. Well, actually, this is a pretty decent green I just came up with here. Let's see what it looks like on the canvas. I'll try it on this corner over here. Uh, oh yeah, that'll work. That will work. Um, I'm going to go ahead and use it here. And I know these edges I'm going to have to fix anyway. So I'll get close and try not to mess up the main character. But that's why I'm doing this now, because I'm not finished with the main character. And if I need to come back and touch up those edges, I can do it. Like that was way wrong, but that's okay. I'll come back and fix it. I could probably fix it right now and just get that green off of there, but I don't want to chance it. I don't want to chance it just yet. I like that green though. All right, let me see what I can do. If I can pick this up. Okay, I was able to pick it up a little bit, and I'll leave it. And now I can go over it pretty easily when the time comes. I don't want to fiddle with it too much because it will mess up everything else if I do. All right, so I like that. And then that'll give me, I can build my horizon off of that. Um, this is definitely going to be mixed in down there. And it doesn't have to be too precious. It's the background. I'm not trying to go for a super detailed background. I just want to give the presence that he is in a forest. And again, I know I'm going to have to come back with these edges. So I'll be careful, but I won't worry too much. I won't intentionally sabotage myself, but at the same time, I know what I have to do later to make it right. Plus, to keep him, I'm probably gonna do some type of rim light around him, just to keep it, just to make it pop a little bit more. And this green is definitely blending in deeper into the edges of some of the shaft and clothing, his staff and clothing, and that's okay. Um, I have to be a little careful in some of these areas. I should really use the other brush, which I said I didn't want to do, but no sense in being not smart about it. I try to use the biggest brush I can for the area I'm working. So here I just need to have a little more control in this corner than my big flat brush. So I'll use one of my favorite rounds. What is this? This is a number 4 round. I can do a lot with it as far as detailed work and broader stroke work. I like it a lot. All right, so that's good to go. It gives me a pretty decent horizon type. And now I'm going to scatter the foliage going up. And just try to create some big shapes. Nothing too, deliberate. But definitely the indication that this is foresty. And I want to keep there's a line that I drew in that I can see right around the hand, and it's kind of frustrating me. I didn't erase it well enough before I started painting, and now I can see it, and it probably doesn't bother anybody in the world but me. But I have to, in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna have to deal with it. I'm gonna have to deal with it, so might as well do it now. Get rid of that line. Let's put some heavy paint because it is bugging me. There we go. It is bugging me. And now I can go with some of the bigger, broader strokes and keep that blue in the background. And still give that impression and illusion. And I'm going to add depth into what's happening, Miss Hale Candy. You're on the road? I'm also going to work on blurring this magic in the background and taking care of that. And if this is a little bit thicker, it'll add to the texture that I'm really looking forward to, so that'll be cool. And I just want to dab a little bit here and there in the middle. I know I'm going to go over the blue magic some more, so I don't need to be too worrisome about it. I'm working backgrounds tonight. I'm trying to finish this up this week and add another one to the pile. Be like you, finishing up multiple drawings a week. I think I need to maybe come in a little bit harder in the back there. That green is looking okay. I don't know if I completely like it or not. I definitely think I want to die down a little bit. I don't want it so strong. My wife is yelling at the cats, chasing them down. I also know that when this dries, it's going to give me a much different effect. And I'm probably going to have to do a couple of glazes over it to really get the effect that I want. And I'm not great with the glazes yet. Um, Many times I glaze too early, and that just creates a big mess. So I have to be careful of that. And I'm doing good on paint mixing tonight. I'm proud of myself of the quantities. I'm doing pretty good on the amount of paint I'm putting out of the tube, and I think I'm going to practice the glaze with the God rays, and if it looks good there, then the rest of it should be pretty good to go. And this one a lot faster than I thought it would. I was really scared at first. 30 minutes and I got the background all blocked in the way I want it. Um, a little nervous in some of the areas. I think if I just keep this dry brush dab going, I'll be okay. I really should have did this at an earlier stage, I can tell. But I think it's coming out all right now. In fact, I like it. I like the way it's coming out, the way it's turning out. I do, I do, I do. I am going to take a couple of chances here. I'm going to take a couple of risks on this next part. I'm going to try to create some forms with some deep shadows by adding black to the mix. Oh, that's way too much black. There we go. Actually, I think I'll go dark. I'll go deep. This is the underbrush shadow, so I'm gonna actually go pretty deep on it. I'm going to go for it. The worst thing could happen is I don't like it, in which case I can cover it up. It's just paint. After tonight, I know I'll be past 15 hours working on this piece. And honestly speaking, after tonight, I could probably stop and be done with it. But this is going to be uh, a more detailed piece. So I'm going to put in a little extra time on it and see how it goes. I like that. Throw in some deeper shadows. Try to give some forms. Maybe even come in here. Oh no, I need some dry brush for that. And I got to get some more of this paint off of it. Um, Maybe come in here and create a little lip. Ooh, yeah, I went too far on that, but that's okay. I have to do those edges again anyway. Okay, I like it. I like it. Give it some form. Almost make it look like he's on the path to something. Um, and then I need to get to, well, I need to get some of this paint off the brush. So I'll just come in here and I'll start putting some deeper shadows on the leaves, coming in here underneath, getting some of that, getting some deeper foliage underneath there. And then once I get the little more paint off, I'll be able to come over on the other side and start adding some. I think that's going to dry and look really nice. Maybe even throw some, a little bit under there like that. Maybe something on the side over here. Oh, I like that. That came out pretty nice. I dare say happy accident, because I wasn't trying for that. Oh, yeah, I do it for, in my mind, I'm like, it's a really bad habit. But honestly, it's something about doing it toward the end that really helps visualize for me. I don't know what it is, but even in my pen and inks, a lot of times I'll do the background last. And part of me just thinks it's a bad habit, but I'm like, nah, not really. Is it really? There's no definite way you have to do it. Are you on the road with your brother? Are you all road tripping it? Those almost looks like things flying. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to put in some bigger shapes in there. I don't want that. I don't want to make it look like stuff is flying. Add a few bigger shapes. Break that up. Maybe connect some of them, some of those shadows together. There we go. That's better. Oh, okay. All right. I'm digging that. I'm digging that. And now I really need to let that dry. But I like this color. So I'm going to use it for his staff to add in knot holes and some bark. And I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, inside the grooves of the bark, I should have some blue magic running through the shaft. And I think that'll be really cool. So I'm going to do that. Um, but I do like this color, which is a little surprising because I didn't think I was going to. But it has enough green and brown in it, I think, to make it appealing. And I'm going to add a little bit more black into it because I want when I add the blue magic, I really want it to pop and to have heavy contrasts against everything else that's in there. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's hard for me to really judge sometime on what it are, because in my mind I see one thing, of course, and I'm like, nah, that's not really what I had in mind. And that's why I like to leave it for a little while. And I'm using a little bit thicker than I would normally do because I want to be able to come in with a smaller brush and put in blue magic, that blue magic trail. But I'm also, this is kind of watered down so it blends in just a little bit. Again, I love the fact I'm working with gouache and this is dry and I can rest my hand on it because I am a hand rester all the time. And it's funny when I'm working with people and doing a little training and mentoring, which I'm not at all an instructor, but to help someone, you only need to be better than they are. And so you can help get somebody up to your level and then pass them on to somebody that's better. But I always tell them, don't rest your hand on your artwork. And then they look at me and they go, your hand is always on your artwork. And I'm like, yes, but be better than me. Don't rest your hand on your artwork. But I have a very bad habit of doing it. I remember in school, my instructor used to always say, get your hand up. And I always tell them, I'm not a doctor. I don't need to have super steady hands. I kind of dig how this is coming out. But I also think I should have used the brush to create some tones on the underside first before I did this. But that's okay. I'll do it as a wash and it'll be fine. I have a lot of friends who actually a lot of the fine artists, they have very steady hands, and they they can hold their hand up and, paint at the same time. But I'm heavy-handed. That's my problem. So if I don't rest my hand on something because I'm heavy-handed, I'm going to blotch hard on with my brush. And then I'm just going to get big, ugly shapes that I can't control and I don't like. So I'd rather just rest my hand and get what I like. One of the reasons I love working with a brush, whether I'm inking with a brush or painting with a brush, is because it forces me to be more light-handed and not so heavy-handed. Because as soon as I put a lot of pressure, the brush, of course, just expands and gives you big globs. But I've learned to control and get more of a detailed line. And up here, this really needs to just, the trees are not in front of the staff at all. So I need to just cover all that up. It's a really bad habit. I'll be the first to admit, resting your hand, especially because I want my work to be archival. And of course, the oils from your hand are going to mess it up. But I don't put my fingers because most of the oils on the fingers, the side of my hand, sometimes the back of my arm, is mostly what I do, and that's bad. I'm not gonna be, oh, that's not bad. It's just as bad, but it's not as bad as the fingertips. Doing the fingertips, you're asking for trouble if you want archival work, because the oils from that are gonna just, they're not gonna go anywhere. They're gonna sit there, and they're gonna mess up your piece. They really are. So I'm always careful about the fingertips where the oil is a little bit heavier. Okay, I'm digging that. I'm digging that. I really want to start working some washes, but I know it's way too wet, and I would just create mud, and that would be really sucky. But on a good note, that background went really quick, less than an hour, and so now I can actually start doing some blending, which I didn't think I was going to get to tonight. I thought I was going to spend all night on the background. So what I did, let me get a dry brush, is I kind of put tiles together next to each other and everything, but I know for a fact where two colors meet in some areas, I want to blend those together to make it a little bit smoother. And then where the creases are, and it's too blended, I want to come in, like here it's too blended. These two colors are definitely different colors, but I want to come in and re-emphasize that crease that I used to have. And I want to re-emphasize this edge of the crease and leave this edge a little bit open and create, and maybe I definitely want to emphasize this crease more. And by that, I will add a little more dynamic movement to the piece. And so I am going to, that was, what color that was, a red and black, which I still have on my board. I just need to reactivate it with some water, add a little bit more paint to the mix with I think I'm gonna go with the violet and black mixture, and really get in there. Wow, I used all my black already. I think this is coming out nice though. It's coming out, I say it's coming out nice because it's coming out the way I envision it in my mind. It may not be what other people think is cool, but I dig it. And if I get what comes out in my mind, I'm I'm happy. That for me, that is priority one. If that's what's in my head and I can get it out on paper, canvas, or whatever, I'm happy. I'm like, that's what I had envisioned. So yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I put way too much water in this mix that I just did, but that's okay. I think it'll be all right. I'll test it here in a second. I might need to just dry the brush off and work it. But this is, I like it. I like what's happening here. Oh no, I like this. I think that's gonna work. I think that's gonna work. I do like the way it's turning out so far. And so now raise it up above the words there for a second. I'm digging it. I know I could leave it pretty painterly and rough like this and be done, but I think another couple of hours of detailing some stuff out will really bring the piece to better life. And that's my goal. That is a little too wet, so let me add a little bit more paint. And I'm using my short angle brush so that it kind of creates a roughness to the creases. If I just use my round, then they'd be pretty smooth. And that's really not what I'm looking for. I want that roughness of the creases. I wonder if you all can hear the alarm as it goes off. I forget to cut it off every time I'm live streaming. And I'm like, did I just blast everybody's ears with my alarm clock? And it's actually my bedtime alarm because I'm old. So I actually set a reminder to myself to take my butt to bed. But really, what it is, I joke with my friends, it's called a bedtime alarm, and it even pops up bedtime alarm. But what it is a reminder for me to kind of make my way home if I'm out and about, and if I am doing something around the house, to kind of start wrapping it up so I'm not up too late. Because as I get older, I'm like, man, nothing's wrong with sleep. I Younger, I was like, nah, I don't want to sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Now I'm like, I don't want to die. I'll get a nap now. And I love naps. I am a nap fiend. I dig naps. And I'm a night owl. So I take at least 2 naps during the day and I'm up at night. Um, Now, when it's time to go to bed, I can rack out anytime I need to. That's one of the things I learned in the military is when it's your time to sleep, you can go to sleep or you can not go to sleep. But there's no guarantee you're going to get to sleep again. So you better learn how to rack out when you get an opportunity to. I'm already digging the parts where I'm making the creases a little bit more noticeable. I am already digging it. I think it's starting to really add some separation and pop to different areas. And I'm not coming in too heavy with them. You nap with your dogs? The dogs, now I know my cats, they rack out all the time. They are nap fiends. So are your dogs, they enjoy the naps as well? That's cool. when I had a dog when I lived in Arizona, he napped so much when I was at work. By the time I came home, he was like, "No, dude, it's playtime." And I'd be like, "Man, let's get a quick nap." He'd be like, "Oh, I've been napping all day. We're gonna play." And I go, "Okay, okay." But at nighttime, he did let me get some sleep. So he was a good dog. What? That is cool. That's really cool. They're like, "Oh, mama, nap time. I'm down, baby. I'm down. Let's get our nap on." I shouldn't do it up there. I'm gonna leave it alone. I know our cats. They love to nap in the day so they can run around like crazy cats at night. And I'm like, "Take y'all's butt to bed," and they go, "Oh no, oh no." Baby Legs, thanks for stopping by. I love the name, Baby Legs. Holy cow, what a name! That is definitely a cool name. This part is really nerve wracking only because it's usually about this time when I have the darkest color on my brush that I drop my brush. I'll like drop it right in the middle of the painting. So I make a attempt not to grip it too hard, not to keep it too light, when it really should just be a very light touch, light hand. But I'm always cognizant of don't drop the brush, don't drop the brush, because I usually drop it at least once per painting. And it's usually when it's the darkest color I have on the brush. Or I'm doing one of the Noir paintings, like my Western Noir paintings, and then I'll have white on the brush or some crazy super bright color, and I'll drop it right in the middle of a big black area. Deadpool. Oh, Deadpool baby legs. That's cool. I like that. I like that. Deadpool baby legs. You know what? I know for sure my cats are seeing ghosts at night. I know it for a fact because sometimes they'll just start freaking out, running all over the place, like, "Don't you see the ghost?" And I'm like, first of all, no. Second of all, I don't want to. Hmm. Custom wood burning. Hola, ¿cómo está? Deadpool baby legs. I'm gonna have to watch that tonight after I finish. Nothing much, just trying to get back into my regular shows this past week. Um, I had a bunch of pieces that I was working on, and I just hadn't felt like turning on turning on the camera. And I was like, I'm doing the work anyway. Yeah, might as well turn on the camera. How things been going with you? I could have swore I just saw one of your shows or I stopped by recently, if I'm not mistaken. Bunch of cool people hanging out here tonight on a Thursday. I know there's a lot of talent out there, so I always appreciate anybody who stops by. It's very it's very nice. I appreciate it. Yeah, you know what? I get the winter blues. I am 100% one of those people who get the winter blues, and I always have. And that's one of the reasons why I like living in Florida, is because the winter's pretty short. But if it's too cold to go out and I'm sitting in under the heater and um I just I need outdoors, and I like to go to the park and go bike riding. And when I can't do those things, I get the winter blues pretty quickly. Then it doesn't help that I feel bad that I get the winter blues, and then I go, oh, and I get harder on myself. And I just messed that area up, but that's okay. I'm just gonna go with it. Um, yeah, it is. It is. And we just had a cold front come through after it got warm, and I was able to go bike riding on some jogs, and then another cold front comes through, and I'm like, but I think we're done with our cold. Our winter only lasts about 2 weeks here. Um, but the dreariness of it sometime can just last a while, and it brings me down. It brings my mood down. My friends will be like, "Hey, let's go do something." I go, "No, it's just gonna get cold before we get in." And they'll be like, "You're such a butthead." And I go, "Ah, your mama. Forget you. Go to hell." Oh no, you're not distracting at all. One of the things, one of the reasons I like doing this is because when I started doing comic conventions, I couldn't I couldn't draw and talk at the same time. It was like one or the other. But so many people, when you're at a comic convention, they'll get a commission, but they're there because they want to see you do it live. They're like, I can order something online anytime. I want to see you do it. And I get it because I'm the same way when I'm getting a commission from somebody. And so, one of my friends who's a comic convention mentor, I mean, he's a beast on these conventions. He's like, dude, you got to get better at drawing and talking and letting people see what you're doing. And so I was working on it. And then so when Whatnot came around, this was a couple years ago, when we were having this conversation. So when Whatnot came around, I was like, wow, this is a perfect opportunity, which is why I'm talking even if nobody's on. I'm just getting that practice in of I need to be able to talk and create because I know that's what people want to see at the convention. They come to the table, they're like, "Hey, can you draw Deadpool for me?" And I want to see you do it. But then there'll be other people around, and you can't ignore them. But you don't want to stop the piece you're working on. And so this is just really good practice on being able to work and talk at the same time. And and it's really helped. It's really helped when and even when no one's on, I just pick conversations and I talk. Even though in my studio I'll talk to myself all the time. I always talk to myself at work, at home. Sometimes the family's like, "What the hell is wrong with you? Who are you talking to?" I'm like, "I'm talking to myself. Don't worry about it." I don't know about anybody else, but I'm gonna say I'm kind of digging how this piece is coming out. I really am. There's a lot I wasn't sure about. There's a lot that I wanted to experiment with on this piece, and I gotta be honest, I'm digging it. I'm digging it. It may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm digging it. My goal now is just to not mess it up. Oh, which I have been known to do sometimes. It's your Achilles. Oh, being able to create and talk and carry on conversations at the same time. Yeah, it's if you're a creator, a visual like like a lot of people are, and people want to see it, especially if they're buying it and they're like, I would love to see you make this piece for me. And I get it because I am the same way. I'm the exact same way when some of my favorite artists, I'm like, can you draw this for me? And they're like, of course. And I'm like, and I want to see you do it. Not because I'm like, I want to make sure you're the one doing it. It's because I am, in awe of watching them create. I'm gonna brag on Hell Candy for a second. I mean, watching her do her thing, the patience, the diligence of creating those effects. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable talent. I do too. There's times where, but what I've learned is what I need to zone out on is the sketch. I need to zone out on, and so you'll notice a lot of times when I'm doing a painting or sketch cards or comic sketch covers, the sketch is done. I am not doing that on camera. Sometimes I'll do some of the sketch cards on camera, but that's because I practice the sketch like 3 or 4 times in my sketchbook before the show, so I know what I'm going to do. I've already kind of worked out in my mind what it's going to look like. But definitely the paintings, I don't sketch them on. Uh, uh, I don't create the layout and the composition. I definitely need that time to myself by myself to do that. Um, because while I'm doing that, while I'm working things in my mind and in my head, I can't be having a conversation with somebody and then um, there have been a few times where I'll say silent stream and I won't pay attention to the chat, but that's not very interactive. Very I don't like it. I wouldn't like it if I was watching it, so I try not to do that very much. But yeah, once the composition is done and it's just a matter of um, going through the creation process of getting to the finished product, I'm good to go. Um, this sketch for this one, I know I created off camera because all of the wrinkles and creases, I really wanted to capture that. But then once I started painting it, not knowing what color stuff was going to be and trying different colors and layouts of tiles together, I just did that on camera and worked through it and talked through it, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty fun. So that part of it I was pretty excited about. And wow, this is pretty cool. Let me see if I can get it there. Actually, I gotta pull up the light bars a little bit. I can dig this. I can dig this a lot. This is a 9 by 12. This is the perfect size for me. Um, Comic book pages are 11 by 17. But luckily those get broken off into smaller panels. Sketch cards, like my custom sketch cards, these are 2.5 by 3.5. And they're trading card size. And that's the Visual Storytellers Comic Showcase. That's our comic cover brand. And then I'll do a sketch on the back of it. But this 2.5 by 3.5 is too small for me. My eyes are bad. I can't get the level of detail I want on these. So they're really hard for me to do. So on Sketch Card Saturday night, I use 4 by 6. That's a perfect sketch size for me. Just enough detail, but not so much that I can't crank one out in 15, 20 minutes. And then for my mini paintings, my composition paintings, I do 6 by 8 because it gives me enough. I think I have one here. It gives me enough. No, I don't. It gives me enough real estate to explore colors and do some stuff. But 9 by 12, that's my sweet spot. I can see everything. I can detail where I want to. I can abstract where I want to. I love it. Plus, when I scan this in at 600 DPI, I can shrink it down and it looks great, and I can blow it up. I think the largest I've blown it up is 24 by 48, and it still looks beautiful. Um, 2 foot by 3 foot still looks beautiful. The size of the drawing board here. So yeah, this 9 by 12 is my sweet spot. Uh, if there's a commission, I'll go a little bit bigger, maybe 11 by 14 at the max. After that, I just go, no, that's not me. That's not what I do. But yeah, this is my sweet spot. Plus, I can fit a bunch of 9 by 12s in my carry case to take to a comic convention. I bought a ruggedized rolling set, and 11 by 17s and 11 by 14s and bigger are just hard to get in the case. I can only get so many in at a time. The 9 by 12s, they fit perfectly. I can take the originals, I can take the prints, um, good sales through. And yeah, this is my format. That's my sweet spot right there. I love it, love it, love it, love it. I don't love the fact that I missed a crease. So I'm gonna have to touch that up real quick. And this did not even take 2 hours tonight. This only took an hour and a half to do the background and the creases that I really wanted to emphasize. I would like to start working on some of the blending and the washes, but I really need to let this puppy dry. Um, Otherwise, I'll wind up with mud in a lot of places. And I honestly could stop. Yeah, not during this stream. No, this stage now took 4 sessions on camera. So that's 8 hours of painting. It took me a couple of hours to do research, uh, sketches, and then I used myself in my bathrobe and a towel and a broomstick and shot some reference of myself to get all the creases and folds. I put on a bunch of garb and got myself some reference photo and did the sketch. But painting, this is session number 4 of painting. So 8 hours painting on camera, and they're all on YouTube. The one thing, the other cool thing for all the artists out there, if you're gonna do live work on Whatnot, just hook it up to your YouTube channel and then this becomes a YouTube video automatically. So soon as I hit end show, this is going to register, because right now it's showing I'm live on my YouTube channel, and when I finish, there's 2 hours of content on my YouTube channel automatically. So I'm like, heck yeah. And now I don't have to worry about creating separate content just for my YouTube channel. So, and another reason why I love it, I on Thursday nights I rarely do any auctions. It's really just the show, and then on Saturday night I do the sketch cards 4x6, and then I sell them for $1 because I use it as to get the video content plus the sketch cards. I do so many of them. The ones that don't sell, I just take them to a comic convention. But if people are hanging out with me on Saturday night watching me sketch, which I would be doing anyway, and they like one of the sketch cards I did, I'm like, cool, you can have it for $1. Um, and so a lot of them sell. The reason I used to do the giveaway, but then I have to pay for the shipping, and I'm like, okay, I'll sell it for $1, and then they can pay the shipping, and then where everything will be cool. But yeah, I like the way this turned out. I could stop here, but I don't want to. I need to really emphasize the blue magic, and then I want to detail the face and hair, and then I want to do some blending in the robe. Uh, and I want to add details to the book, add some details to the magical staff, um, and make this a painting worth spending a couple of $100 on whoever buys it, as well as scan it, make prints of it, and have a really nice collection of prints that I can take to shows and make available on my web store. So that's how I work it. That's how I work it. Um, but so an hour and a half tonight, not bad, not bad at all. I thought it was going to take a lot longer, but the background came together a lot quicker than I thought it would. I I did the undertone, uh, the undershadow. I didn't do the top shadow because I don't know if I'm going to go light green or use the blue or a combination. I need to think about it. I need to let this dry, look at it for a day, think about how I want to finish it out, and then um, and then finish it out. So probably one more session, and then this one will be done. I'll scan it, put the prints up, and I may start giving away one print of all the paintings. I may do that. I may do that. Yeah, I mean, think of a bunch of different ways that you can use your art. Um, so the paintings, so my sketch cards, like I said, I sell them for $1, but they're fun and practice for me. These paintings and a lot of my pen and ink drawings are also 9x12, where I use pen and ink and marker. Um, that's really what I do as an illustrator. If I'm doing book covers and stuff like that, I want people to see this and go, "Ooh, I love that. Can you do a book cover for me?" So paintings, range from anywhere from $200 to $500. A painting like this would probably be closer to the $500 because of the time and detail in it. And then if you look on my bin, there's a painting, I think, of Captain America, which is more abstract, a lot more painterly, and that's like 150, $200 that I would sell. But if someone wants a nice book cover, I can show them, hey, do you want something like this or do you want something more detailed? If someone wants an illustration from pop culture where I use the pen and ink and markers, it'll also be 9x12. But that's the sweet spot of what I do. And do I sell? I could do a painting like this a day if that's all I did for the day. But am I going to sell a painting a day for $500 a day? No. So what are other ways that I can use the content? I can record the video and put it on my YouTube channel. I can do a detailed enough painting that when I scan it, it looks great when I'm making prints. And then I can take that to conventions. I can take it to fairs where I set up tables, and then I can use my in my portfolio. So when people ask me to do book covers, there's a great sample of the work that I can do, and I'm not just telling them, "Oh, trust me, I'm really good." I did. I haven't got any book covers this year. The book cover I got last year, the author is trying to get it finished editing to before I can release it. And then I do book covers for my own projects for comics and novels. I don't know. I don't remember how many I did last year, but this year, and then I do fantasy art for people just you know who want it in part of their collection. A lot of role playing games, D&D people, they want fantasy art of their characters, so I do pen and ink drawings and color for them. So I look at this one piece. What's the different ways I can use it for? I can use it for the Whatnot stream. I can use it for the YouTube content. I can use it for the painting itself, and then I can use it for prints. And I can shrink it down, and which I'll do probably mid-year after I have a dozen paintings. I'll shrink them all down, make postcards of them, and then sell a pack of postcards, 10 to 12 postcards of the fantasy art. And last year I also did a calendar. I forgot about that. A fantasy art calendar, and we're doing fantasy art calendars again this year. So this painting will be part of the calendar for 2025, and the calendar's going on sale in September, October. So multiple ways to make use of this painting. Um, and then when it does sell, it'll have a good home and it'll be worth it to the person who buys it. So that's how I run the show. But yeah, find different ways to use what you create to create different revenue streams. All right, everyone. Thanks for stopping by. This went a lot quicker than I thought it would, and I'm not mad about it. I'm kind of glad about it, and I think it's turning out beautifully. One more session, and I'm thinking I'm going to do it tomorrow and be done with it because the next painting I'm doing is a Wild West painting. I'm doing Doc Holliday from the movie Tombstone, where he's fast gun six shooting. I already did Wyatt Earp, so the next one is Doc Holliday, and then Saturday I will be doing sketch cards Saturday night, and I'm doing Star Wars Bad Batch sketch cards. I'm hooked on the Bad Batch. I love those guys, and I'm going to do some sketches of them. So you all take it easy. Thanks for stopping by. I truly appreciate it. Love seeing the cool people hang out. You all take care. Peace out. I don't. Who's on? Who's on? Is months is Sunshine on? Because I usually try to raid her if she's on. I'm gonna check real quick. Oh, wait a minute, is Josh on? Melinda's on. Sunshine's already finished. Let's raid just Josh, who was a great creator. All right, let's go.